Hey everyone, welcome back to Movie Studio, and today I'm here with a brand new video for you guys. I'm going to be talking about Sweet Magnolias Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8, titled Fragile Things and the Rules of the Game. Some pretty strong episodes, and I really like them, so I'm excited to get into them. We're nearing the end of the season, there's a lot of drama to break down, so let's go ahead and get started with Episode 7. So we left off with a cliffhanger that Noreen went into labor, and now she has the baby. She's named Rebecca Lynn Fitzgibbons. Bill's the first one to see her, and he's acting all genuine. Is he? I guess he's as genuine as he could be. He actually sounded like he was. We can't really trust him because he's such an unlikable character, but I guess it is good that he's trying to mean well, trying to make up for his mistakes. He said he apologizes to Noreen's parents and says they've already agreed on child support and he's already covered the hospital costs. So that was good, I will say, for him. And he tells Isaac to call him if Noreen or the baby ever need anything. And then Maddie tells Noreen she wants to reconcile and gives her the same blanket that she brought her kids home from the hospital in, all three of her kids. So that was sweet. I'm glad. Last episode, Noreen was the bigger person when it came to apologizing to Maddie. In this episode, Maddie was the bigger person for accepting her apology, and I'm glad they're able to reconcile. Hopefully they can move down a good path for the future. So then we also have that other cliffhanger, which is Eric had something he needed to tell Helen. He reveals that he lost his wife during a miscarriage. Pretty much, he used to be an EMT in Atlanta before he moved to Serenity, and he couldn't save his wife, and he lost them both, his wife and the baby, and that's messed him up ever since, and he's had to live with that guilt, and that's just why he's had trouble moving on. And Helen really tells him, if my situation ever makes it hard for you, tell me. And he says he will. So at least, they're starting to work stuff out. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad we also got to see Eric's backstory too. When he was crying so much when Helen had her miscarriages, I suspected something similar happened to him, and it did. But losing both, that's really tough. And the actor did such a great job of playing that scene where he really showed the emotion. Great actor, by the way. And I really like Helen and Eric together. And I'm glad that the adults are actually behaving like adults, like they're, and they're not acting like kids, like Dana, Sue, and Ronnie, but we'll talk about that later. So pretty much everyone's still gathering around Noreen, even after the trouble she's caused. Pretty much she has a lot of, I think she's really glad that she actually has support and friends, because let's be honest, last season she would not have the support that she has now. Like, it's different, and I'm glad that she has had everyone come together and give her gifts, and it really shows that in a small town like this, everyone's welcome, and nobody's perfect. So, and I think they accepted that, and they think Noreen's welcome, and she's not perfect, but I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm happy for Noreen. I'm actually starting to like her character. And we kind of have this causes Helen to still be thinking about wanting a baby, and it also Trotter and Ashley are still going to be adopting a youth, so a teenager. So yeah, everyone's kind of feeling the love this episode, and I'm really glad Noreen's baby caused a lot of relationships to progress. And she says that she wants to stay at Isaac's house, and she wants to stay in Serenity. She doesn't want to go home with her parents. And it's her choice to make. I'm glad she stood her ground against her parents. Not that they're bad people, just her mom's a little bit of a control freak. But yeah, I don't know. I'm glad we got a little bit into Noreen's life and her making a decision for herself. And I'm really glad that Isaac's gonna help her out. Do I want it to be a romantic relationship? No, because I think that would be weird, and their lives are very different. But I'm glad that Noreen has people to surround her now that, she's on good terms with Maddie, and that she has Isaac there too. Speaking of mothers, we have Peggy, and she talks to her mom, and she has no interest in meeting Isaac, because she's the one who urged and pretty much forced Peggy to give Isaac up for adoption. She says, I'm not letting a stranger upend our lives. It was pretty harsh, I gotta say. Like, I gasped. Me and my mom both gasped while watching that. But yeah, that was very harsh, harsher than I was expecting. So yeah, she does not want to meet her grandson, and yeah, she just does not support it. And Peggy does have a talk with Isaac, and it was a really sweet scene. She says the only thing she was allowed to choose was his middle name, which is Jeremiah. And she says she wants a better relationship with him. And that's good. So they're starting to develop that mother-son relationship, and she does say that she'll reach out to the dad. So I'm assuming we'll find out who the dad is soon. I'm really looking forward to that reveal. But hopefully the mom will come around and decide that she wants to give Isaac a chance to welcome them into the family. It does seem like, I don't know. I mean, in one end, like, Peggy was the one who got herself into this mess, but she was a teenager, and her mom shouldn't blame her for that and be controlling. So, yeah. I also want to say that, as far as the relationships go, Kyle meets a girl named Sophie, who wants to develop a video game with him, so maybe that's, like, a potential relationship there. It's pretty random, but you never know. Maddie and Cal have a little beach vacation thing that he set up for her, which is really sweet. And yeah, I like them together too. Helen and Eric go on a date and they share their first kiss, so that's pretty big. This relationship finally stepping up, and I really like them together. They're probably my favorite relationship, to be honest. And then Dana, Sue, and Ronnie are also doing well. Annie walks in on them making out on the sofa. And that's definitely not good. I feel so bad for Annie during that scene, jeez. And that's kind of where it ends off, so it's very embarrassing to say the least. Overall, great episode. Let's move on to episode 8. So, Annie is struggling with this, with, obviously seeing her parents. She's refusing to really talk to her parents about it, like talk it through. She says it was bad enough that I walked in or whatever you two were doing, but now you can't agree on what it meant. And she talks to Jackson about this, tries to get support from him, and her mom gets mad at her for talking to Jackson about family business. And I'm like, yeah, but you're the one who is keeping secrets from Annie, like, and now you want her to chill. And she even told Ronnie, Annie's gonna have to cool her jets. Like, Dana Sue has just been annoying lately. Like, I kind of get where Ronnie's coming from. I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, I'm not vibing with Dana Sue here in this case. Like, she's just, I don't know, she's acting like it's all Annie's fault and she's being too hard about it. I don't know. Yeah, I did not like that, though. Jackson does get permission from Dana Sue to take Annie out on a date, so that was sweet. She does tell him, the first way to get into trouble with me is to encourage Annie to break any house rules. And I think Jackson does ask her in a sweet but quirky way, but yeah, I'm glad because Jackson last season would not do that, and I think it just shows how much he's developed. I gotta say also, I really like Annie and Jackson's relationship. I was a little bit skeptical of it at first, but I think they have pretty good chemistry, and then it might be my favorite relationship with the teens too. So yeah, I really like that. So let's also talk about Dana, Sue, and Ronnie. Ronnie is pressuring Dana Sue to make up her mind. He says, what on earth is holding you back? And he accuses her of not ever forgiving him. And she says, I can't trust you. So pretty much they're just kind of going back and forth. I don't know whose side I'm on here. Okay, so it sounds like Ronnie cheated on Dana Sue. I mean, that's pretty obvious. So that is something hard to come back from. Like, he destroyed their lives, her and Annie's lives. So she's just having trouble trying to forgive him. However, why, like, she's also kind of, like, played him and let him on a little bit, but, like, making out with him and, like, having sex with him and, like, just being physically active with him. Like, if she really didn't want to forgive him, she shouldn't be doing that with him. But she did say chemistry was never our problem. But, yeah, she needs to be careful. Like, I don't know. And then Ronnie might be a little bit saying the hamster on the wheel. I thought that was a little bit weird, personally. I am glad he signed them up for couples counseling or marriage counseling. I mean, I think maybe he should have talked to Dana Sue about it, but, yeah, I don't know who set him on here. I think they're both in the wrong, and I think they just need to grow up and actually work out their issues for sure. Meanwhile, Kyle and Sophia are growing closer. They're still working on the video game. He's using his acting skills to add mock-up and stuff like that to it. And I really like that Ty and Kyle are finally getting along again, and he's really happy that Kyle has friends. I really like that for sure. And Ty does say there's something he wants to do other than baseball that he can just dive into. And Kyle says he should try to find something. So yeah, Ty has that going through his mind right now. And he does go to CC, but what's going through Ty's mind at this time? He demands an apology from CC when she didn't do anything wrong. I mean, maybe because CC ghosted him, that's why he's upset, and that's kind of fair. But then again, he ghosted CC in the first place right after he got hurt. I mean, again, maybe he didn't want to talk to anyone, but he did the same thing to her first, so I totally understand where she's coming from. Unfortunately, I don't know. I'm definitely on CC's side with this one. On one hand, we have Ty being a really good and cool big brother, but on the other hand, he's just being stupid in his relationship with CC. So we're kind of not sure if we're supposed to like him or not. I guess I'll have to wait and see. But it does look like him and CC are over now. And Nellie joins Kyle and Sophie's group, so maybe there's a little love triangle. I don't know. Nellie coming back was kind of random. She hasn't been in it since the premiere, so it's probably gonna be he gets with Nellie at the end. Although I'd rather see him and Sophie, but we'll see. So then we have Cal and Maddie going to a fundraiser, and we find out that he's actually somewhat, like, pretty famous, like, in the baseball world. So, yeah, Maddie's pretty impressed by that, and I really did. And it turns out his friend Jody is deaf. I thought that was an interesting thing to bring into the show, for sure. I thought that was good. And, yeah, I'm glad we saw Maddie kind of get an insight into Cal's life, and I think they're a good couple and they have good chemistry together for sure. And then we also have they get enough signatures to start the recall for the mayor, so it looks like we're heading in the direction that the mayor is kicked off Trent Lewis, and we're gonna get a new mayor coming in. I hope Maddie runs. I think that'll be really cool, because the idea of it's kind of brought up this episode. And so they're all celebrating at the end that they're gonna fix their town, and Miss Frances, who's kind of like the matriarch of Serenity, collapses when they're having a toast, and that's kind of the cliffhanger. So will she be okay? I mean, she's probably gonna die. I hate to say that, but that's probably where they're headed. But yeah, great episode. It definitely, I'm glad this season's really picking up the drama for sure. I'm really excited to see what happens with our three main couples, and we also see Helen and Eric deciding to wait to have sex. Eric's decision. So yeah, I'll be back in a few days to talk about the finale. So bye everyone.